So Fridays are my meditation days for the energy on the planet. And today's message was really, really short, and I want to share it with you. So there's a lot of darkness coming up, and it's been this way for a long time, couple years and longer. But there's been different phases of the darkness of the planet that's been coming up, and the darkness is related to old energies that the planet has held on to in the history of our current civilization, and it's also related to the individual's darkness, what we each hold within ourselves that has not yet been healed. And this all affects the planet's energy as well, because the planet has an energetic body, and so do we. And because we live on planet Earth, these energies can get merged and influence each other. So ideally, we want to be working on ourselves, working within for our own growth and our own healing, and really coming to a place of understanding ourselves so that we can heal and grow as individuals, and that will really affect the global energy that I'm talking about. But what I saw was we're going through a cleansing process, but there's a lot of heavy darkness that comes up, and then there's somewhat of a purging, and then there's another layer of heavy darkness that comes up, and then there's a purging, and it's just going that way in waves and currents. It's like a sweeping upward of all the debris and darkness and shit of the planet, and it's gone, and then another sweeping. So it's just a continuous, and that's why we're seeing so much chaos and hate and war and killing and polarity, and it's really important that we understand that the individual's work is going to affect this purging process. So basically, if you are holding on to negative energy from your past, resentment, grudges, self-judgment, those things are what need to be purged within. Because remember, I know I've talked about the universal law of correspondence, which is basically saying on a micro scale, it's a reflection of the macro scale, and that can also be stated in the saying or phrase, as above, so below. So when we do our inner work, we're doing the work of the collective, and that's changing the planet's energy. The planet's going to shift when we shift. So as above, so below is like we're the below, and the collective and the global, the energy on the earth is the above. So keep that in mind. The main message that I got that was really clear was, if you want peace on this planet, if you want to see children getting fed and not suffering, and humans treating each other right, and our resources flourishing instead of being depleted, and general peace on earth, whatever that means to you, if you want to see peace, the individual must see peace. There has to be peace within, was the exact phrasing. So peace has to start within. And that means that if we're holding on to conflict within, then we are not representatives of peace, whatever that means to you, whatever you think of when you hear that word. If we want peace on planet Earth, if we don't want to see killing and hate and divisiveness and ridicule and judgment and cancel culture and all this shit, we have to bring peace into our individual lives. And what does that mean? It means, how do you talk to the people in your life? How do you think about others? How do you show yourself love and compassion and acceptance? Because if you're not able to do that within your micro scale world, then remember, our little world is just a reflection of what's outside and what's all around us. So if we're not doing that in our personal lives, that's the place to start. And there's no shame if you have the awareness and wisdom to look at your life and say, wow, I really could use some help with how I bring peace into my life. My kids and I are always fighting, or my husband and I, or my partner and I, or my friend and I, my coworkers and I, my neighbors and I, whatever sample of disharmony you have in your life, there's no shame in that. We all need to be honest with what's really going on and where we can work, and not bring ourselves down for it. That's the opposite of self-compassion, is to judge yourself or shame yourself, or be prideful and refuse to even look at the issues that could be worked on. So when we see patterns that we're bringing into the world or in our lives, when we see areas for improvement, it's just really important to not beat yourself up or think that you're wrong or bad or anything. Why don't you praise yourself for being so, I have stuff in my throat, sorry. Why don't you just praise yourself for being so honest and I don't know what this is. I've kind of had allergies, so I was sneezing a lot earlier. Kind of gross, but that's what's been happening. So there's no self-judgment when it comes to seeing aspects of ourselves that really need to be brought into the light. Self-judgment is the opposite of peace. It's, if peace is acceptance and love and harmony and balance and unity, then self-criticism and self-judgment is the opposite of that, because it's basically rejecting an aspect of yourself. And rejection is almost like saying, like, this is not okay, but this is okay. And that's kind of what's going on in our world, is there's such harsh judgment of others and certain aspects of our world, with the failure to look within and see maybe how those very things you're rejecting on the outside exist within you. And so we want to always, like, if you're looking outward with criticism or judgment at people, at groups, at whatever it is, I would turn the attention inward and think, what part in me can be healed by being triggered by this external thing. So anytime we're passing judgment on ourselves or others, we're rejecting a part of ourselves, because there's some part of ourselves that resonates with that. And so we want to be aware enough and wise enough to look within and just be really honest, like what in me can be resolved through what I'm being triggered with. Okay, so I'm going to cut it off. I have a client call that I'm 1 minute late to, so hopefully that message makes sense, and you can leave a comment below. Also, you could subscribe or share the video if it makes sense for you. Bye.